patriarchy in the society were very pertinent then. So some of the people that had sold some property to my father wanted to take it back because it was only a woman now who was there. So it really sensitized me at a very early age. I proceeded to the Cooperative College of Kenya, where I learned management of cooperative societies, audits. After I completed, I proceeded to work at the Ministry of Cooperative Development, where I was managing about 30 cooperative societies at any one time. And the work I used to do was management, training, and supervision. While working there, I was able to see how members of cooperative societies were suffering because money would be deducted at source and not remitted. So most members died before they received their dues. And that really informed my decision of joining the law school so that I could see how we can sort some of the problems because they were apparent in the society. So I then consulted widely, and while there, remember, I was at an advanced stage, so I met the love of my life. So I married Cheptumo, and were blessed with 3 children as I was still working. So through his mentorship and also consultation widely while working, I proceeded to go and do law at the University of Nairobi. I completed the University of Nairobi and continued working now as a negotiator and alternative dispute resolution agent at the Cooperative Tribunal. In 2007, my husband joined politics, so I had no choice but now to go and work in the law firm as a managing partner, which I still do to date. Other than my professional and family life, I am also, I have a lot of social things that I do, mostly in the church. I am a member of Africa Inland Church, Kenya. Specifically, I'm a member of AIC Langata, where I am the chair lady of the church. So I lead the women as a woman. I also teach children in a program called CED program, Christian Education Department. So I teach girls of the age of 6 to 12. They are called stars. So we teach them to be stars at a very early age. Then once they pass that age, we teach them now as cadets. The skills that we teach these children is to know how to live with others in the community.
And who teaches the boys?
The boys are taught by the men, but I am a patron there, because we have to ensure that the boy and the girl know how to live together. Next to our church, there is a slum. So we noticed that the girls and the boys in the slum did not have an opportunity to learn because they don't have the space. So we would go doing missionary work there, then we bring the girls and the boys and we teach them. To date, if you go there, you would not know who comes from the slum and who comes from the estate. And that is what I've been doing. And in brief, you only gave me 5 minutes, so maybe I stop there. But I would like to say, through what I have talked about, or rather giving the chronology of my CV and my life, I learned at a very early age to be a caregiver because of my sister. I learned how to do conflict resolution at the Cooperative Tribunal. I am a serious negotiator. I even negotiate for votes and I succeed. So that one I've learned as a family person and as an advocate. And in leadership, a lot as I work in the law firm, because to come from that old age and to run a law firm and it is profitable to date, I had to really know how to negotiate and how to deal with clients' issues. So that business is doing very well. It is paying tax. I'm a mobilizer. I mobilized a lot in cooperatives. I'm a teacher in the church. People management. For you to succeed, you must know how to deal with people. And I am a keen listener and a serious negotiator. I listen and I negotiate.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, with these skills, I would like to say, if this committee approves my nomination, I will negotiate for more funding for my ministry. And negotiating means budget issues, because when I went through their readings, most of their problems is budget cuts. I will also foster teamwork. You can't work alone. Mine is like an issue of marriage. It is me who is getting married there, and the marriage must work. I will also engage other stakeholders to promote arts, heritage, culture, and champion for gender equality. And because I am a lawyer, I'm especially keen to work on pushing for pending policy and legislative matters, which I saw most of them are pending in Parliament. So the Constitution is there, but the laws, the relevant laws, are wanting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Hanna Cheptumo, you only seem to have worked with the Ministry of Cooperatives as a cooperative officer way back, yes, before you went into private practice. Do you think you have the relevant experience to serve in public office? And I know you are married to a politician, so you might have engaged in a number of public engagements with the late Cheptumo. But do you think you have the relevant experience now to serve as a cabinet secretary in public office? And aware of the demands of that office as a cabinet secretary, you have also stated that you have been engaged in a lot of other activities outside the law practice in your firm, in the church. Are you going to be able to now do those other things that you do in the church, including teaching children on CED, as a cabinet secretary? And lastly, on gender-based violence, you come from an area, as you say, girls experience a lot of hardships coming from a semi-arid area in Baringo. And you've seen the recent news of femicide cases and gender-based violence against young girls and women in the country. What is your plan, should you be approved, to stem that those rising cases of gender-based violence and femicide in the country?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. We
can take 1, 2 more. Just note what you have been asked. Junet? No question?
I'm satisfied. I have no question.
Yes, Nelson?
Yes, a quick one. You said that if approved, you will negotiate for more funds for the ministry you've been nominated to. Where, in your opinion, do you think those before you have failed?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me say this, that her late husband, Honorable Cheptumo, I served with him for 10 years. Number 2, the late Cheptumo was a senator representing my community in Tiate. And therefore, with those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I wish her well in convincing this committee to approve her. I thank you, Speaker.
Naisula?
Thank you, Chairman. So you come from a region in the North Rift where there's a lot of conflict. And most of the time we leave it to the security department, while we know women and children bear the most brunt of conflict. I would like to know, if you're approved and you become the CS, what efforts you will put in to build, to ensure that there is peace also in that region. And then I'd just like to hear from you, because when you talk about femicide, when you talk about cultural issues, you really can't point your finger on it, really. I'd want to hear what innovative ways you will deal with issues of femicide, on the cultural issues like early marriages, FGM, things that we have struggled with as a country for many years.
You can answer those three.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, members. I hope I have captured well. So to start with the issue of whether I am qualified or whether I have the capacity, I earlier on said that I have worked in the Ministry of Cooperative Development. That is where I came, that is where I started my work. I worked there for 14 years. Secondly, where I'm going to work, I will not be alone. We have a structure in that ministry, so you work with the people who are there. They are permanent secretaries, they are heads of departments. You consult widely so that you can be able to function. So I believe I'm qualified because it is about the other person. You can't work alone. You have to work as a team. The issue of the other works, if you talk about the law firm, I have trained many students through pupillage. It is an opportunity now to give them the chance to also work there. And secondly, 2 of my children are advocates, so they will continue. After all, it was the vision of their father. Let them carry on. About teaching in the church, that one I will not abandon, because that is where the cradle of life is. So teaching, you do it on Saturdays and on Sundays. And when I'm not there, there are other teachers, and we work together. So I believe that I will be able to do all that work given the opportunity. The issue of, was it gender-based violence and femicide? Gender-based violence is violence that is meted on either gender. It is either a man or a woman. It is violence as a result of your gender. So the proposed ways of dealing with gender-based violence, as I look at it, is coming from a community that is prevalent. Gender-based violence is caused by patriarchy. Earlier on, historically, men have been owning property, and they have been the ones who have also been elected in elective positions. So, to be able to cure this vice that is in the community, we have to engage community leaders. Leadership is on the ground. That is where we have men and women, we have people in churches, we have people in barasas. So those are the people that I will engage together with my team and the members of the counties, because the counties are, devolution is on the ground. We have to work with county governments to ensure that we deal with these issues by discussing the issues and ensuring that we have solutions from the ground. We also have to engage the religious leaders. Every Sunday or on Fridays, either you go to the mosque or you go to church. And those are platforms that you can use without spending any money. And I will also engage with the leadership. Remember, as I told you earlier, I have been married to a politician for close to 20 years, and I have been there. So persuasion comes from the members of parliament. They are the ones who, once they appear in a place, members come, people come. So we'll use that opportunity to ensure that we pass our agenda to the forums that members of parliament have. I know the agenda desks which are there at the police stations. And as far as I'm concerned, they are not very effective. Because a person who has had a challenge with being battered will not be very happy or not easy to go and report such a thing in a police station. Especially if the policeman who is dealing with gender issues is a man. If the person is a man. I propose that we have gender desks being manned by a woman and a man, and possibly transfer them to hospitals, so that when you go to hospital, you report.
Mr. Speaker, as much as I agree with the nominee that there's gender-based violence, but it can be on both sides. There's also violence from women to men. So the police must be careful. There's not only women who are being by rights or being molested.
Mr. Speaker, she has mentioned that. That's why she has said actually that you have a policeman and a policewoman.
Yes.
So that if Junette is beaten by the wife, at least he can go to hospital.
Thank you, member, for that. So I was saying it is important that we move it to hospitals, because once a person has a challenge, they're able to go to hospital, be treated, report, be treated, and also have psychosocial support, because these cases are very bad. You report and you do not get treatment, you don't get psychosocial support, you go back home. That is why most of them after that commit suicide. So it is important to have a desk that have all those things, the treatment, the reporting, and the psychosocial support. There is also a gap in the Evidence Act. It does not address gender-based violence issues. It talks about homicide, but there is no femicide. So it is important that we amend so that it is specific, because if you go to a police station, they take your evidence based on homicide, which is general, killing of a person. But gender-based violence cases and femicide should be very, very specific in the Act.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker. I almost referred to you as Chair, Honorable Speaker. And I remember the obvious. Madam Hanna, are you then proposing that we should redefine homicide to femicide, or isn't both is a killing of a human being, whether it is female or a man who has been killed? So if the gap you see is in a definition, what I wanted to hear from you at the policy level as a cabinet secretary in charge of this ministry, what are the policy proposals that you would push through? And I hear what you're saying about legislative amendments. That might be a policy proposal, but I don't know whether defining femicide and homicide changes the fact that a human being has been killed. It is policy proposals that would, for instance, working with GAO officers, National Government Administration officers, the National Police Service, National Police Service officers, other government agencies, to even educate girls from a young age in schools. How do you handle relationship issues? How do you handle people who are being mean to you, people who are expressing violence, even verbal violence to you? That's what I wanted to hear, but I see you now delving onto definitions in law. Whether it is femicide or homicide is a killing. And I don't know, you are the lawyer, I'm not a lawyer, but both are killing. And I don't know whether it is right to kill a man and wrong to kill a woman. Both is murder.
Let me first define what femicide is.
We know it.
Yes.
Just tell us what you are being asked. And you see, you are focusing on post-violence interventions. We are more interested in prevention of such violence. You will help society better. So the question is, I'm sure you know something about the ministry you have been nominated to. When you get there, what policy interventions or changes or innovations will you bring on board to stem gender-based violence? Don't focus on how you'll handle people who have been bastardized and beaten up and battered and so on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I see the solutions to be coming from the locals. So one of the policy measures that I will propose is to include the gender-based violence issues in the education system. Because right at the education level, that is where children can learn even how to report and when to know when they are being violated. So put it in the education system. Propose together with the other line ministry on how to deal with issues of gender-based violence at the primary schools and at the secondary school as a curriculum. Secondly, is to have the education of the locals on why they should not be, why they should protect. For example, the boys, they should protect their sisters. And the men should know how to live with their wives. So those are family issues, and we can come up with a policy on educating the masses.
The question of Koech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Member Koech asked me where have the other people, my predecessors have failed in terms of funding. They have not failed. I think the issue was budget cuts because of to ensure that the exchequer, the money is distributed across. But there are some pertinent issues that have to be dealt with, which cannot wait. For example, these cases of gender-based violence cannot wait. When I saw the case of Gala, the girl at Wajir, the way it was reported that she was calling, and she was calling the mother, there was no help coming from even the leaders and the authorities. So this cannot wait. We can't push the budget of these gender-based issues. Those are the ones that should be prioritized because it is sanctity of life. If you kill women, you have destroyed a whole family. If you kill girls, you have destroyed a whole generation. So they did not fail, but they need to be looked at and ensure that funding is given to those serious issues. So it's a matter of negotiating and ensuring that those particular ones, even if not all, at least they are taken care of.
Isula, question.
Femicide and early marriage. Early marriage is brought about by patriarchy. These are men who give out their daughters because they want bride price. So the issues of early marriage should be curtailed at the point of education.
Even women participate in giving away their daughters.
They do, but they are it is the men who actually push. I come from such a community.
Yes.
It is the man who speaks. So once you reach a certain age, they see that you have developed some parts in the body, then they now encourage you, let this one go before she gets pregnant. So that one can be dealt with by involving both parents, the mother and the father, and even the brothers, on why the assistants should be allowed to continue with education, especially at the TVETs, so that even if you are in class 8 and you did not pass well, there are these institutions that you can go and learn. So that one should not be a reason for early marriage. Femicide. Femicide, as I said earlier, is the killing, intentional killing of women and girls. This one is brought about by, I see a lot of it is because of dependency. If girls were able to have economic power, they would not depend on the either gender. Sometimes you find them in places where they are exposed because they are trying to get alternative source of income. We also have challenges to do with, say, education. Education, yes. If a woman is educated, chances are that they will avoid some of these challenges which are there in the society. So we need to encourage our girls.
The girls who have been killed in Airbnbs are in universities. They're educated.
They're educated, but those ones are looking for money. Yes. You know, a girl has many needs.
Point of order. Point of order.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, point of order.
Honorable Mishi.
Honorable Chairman, it is not good to say that those girls are looking for money, and that is why they're brutally murdered. We have seen so many other women who have been murdered, and not in those circumstances. So it is very wrong to say that those women who have been found, they have been butchered, their body dismembered, put in a sack, that they were doing that for money.
Taken. Naisula, you had another issue about
the peace and
peace.
Yeah, so that it's not just a security matter.
Can you respond to that?
Before responding to that, I had not finished answering the first question on what we need to do as far as femicide is concerned, is to have recovery centers, also have safe spaces where the girls can go to. The challenge that we also have is the system of reporting.
Nominee, you are overflowing femicide.
Thank you.
I think members are not having any issue with that.
Thank you.
Answer her question on what intervention you can propose coming from a semi-arid but a bandit-prone area. That's what she asked you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And you are not just going to be a minister in charge of femicide. You are going to do many things. There's culture in it, there's arts in it, there's heritage in it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The conflict resolution on the ground comes because the challenges of insecurity is because of income. The cows which are stolen from Baringo, for example, are stolen because of bride price. They are taking those cows so that they can pay dowry for another wife. So how to deal with that one is to encourage, first of all, to try and deal with this issue of you must give out 20 cows. For me, even Cheptumo did not pay the 2, and I am still married to him. So you don't have to have 20 cows. You can have 2 and still get married. We are willing to get married anytime. The other issues that we need to encourage is this bottom-up transformation agenda of trying to work on matters of agriculture. If you look at Baringo, for example, Lake Baringo has a lot of water. So we will work with the other state departments of, for example, irrigation, to have these people work in the farms instead of going to steal. Because food will always be marketable. So why steal cows to buy food? Just ensure that you have work on the farm, get the food.
Thank
then
you.
Go to schools.
Thank you. Robert?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have two very quick questions. One about gender and the other one is about arts.
Take the questions very carefully so that you give concise and precise answers, like I said. No stories.
No stories. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And femicide, we have had enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure mine will be some maybe yes or no answers. Now, Article 27.8, Article 81B, and Article 100 are very clear about the two-thirds gender rule. And these have consistently been violated by state officers. In fact, I'll point out that in this nomination, if we approve the two of you, the cabinet will not even have achieved the two-thirds gender rule. What is your comment about that consistency in not making sure we get the two-thirds? Secondly, on the issue of arts, you have talked to us here and you have told us you have been a teacher, you have been teaching, but you're not a trained teacher. Now, most schools have to have arts. In fact, we are looking at next year when we go to senior secondary, we'll even have a pathway. The pathway is called Arts and Sports Science. So basically...
Yes, Janet.
I wanted to through you. He's saying that she's a teacher and she's not a trained teacher. Mr. Speaker, for you to be a teacher, must you be a trained teacher? Was Jesus a trained teacher? People.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think Honorable Juneta has assisted me very seriously with my question, because my question was about arts in schools. Recently, you saw when there was that drama and a lot of drama in the streets of Nakuru, when a school presented some play and there were issues about that play, and the Ministry of Education has quickly said that anyone who is not a trained teacher cannot be allowed to interact with the learners to be able to help them grow their art skills. So what is your comment on that matter? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have a very simple question on the arts. One, there are a lot of musicians there in the villages trying to struggle to survive, and they're looking for ways to make a breakthrough. We look at the Tanzanian model where great musicians come and they make money, but the Kenyan musicians still remain very poor. When you take over, if this committee approves you and you take over, what are you going to do about the young artists in the village struggling, and yet they have good quality music, but they cannot break through? Thank you.
Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to note that should you be confirmed, which I really strongly hope you will, that you will continue with the energy that you have shown, because you appear to have landed running, because this is a ministry that has stayed without a substantive CS for a long time. And I'm glad that you've noticed that one of the things bedeviling this ministry is budgetary allocation, of course, which goes back to Parliament. But again, using your negotiating skills, you said you'll try and use it to increase. I have one question that is gender-related and one that is culture-related. The question that is gender-related is that how do you seek to build a program for men so that they can take their responsibility of mentoring boys instead of always blaming women? How do you think you can do that? Even here, you have been asked a question asking you, what about the boys? Where are the men?
You say our chairman asked you a question.
I don't know who asked, but...
It is me who asked.
Anyway.